Slifer the Sky Dragon, the Winged Dragon of Ra, Obelisk the Tormentor. These 3 cards were mighty and unstoppable, with no monster able to reach their strength. They were unaffected by all other effects, with each monster having their own unique powerful ability. In the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, there's never any monster that can parallel their might. That is, apart from the exception of the On June 2004, a spin-off to the original Yu-Gi-Oh manga, Yu-Gi-Oh! R was released, which took place following the conclusion of Battle City, after the defeat of Marek Ishtar. As Yu-Gi-Oh! R followed the manga canon, many events occur in a different way from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. The most prominent of these changes is the death of Pegasus in the Duelist Kingdom, which leads into the main plot of R. In Yu-Gi-Oh! R, Pegasus creates the 3 Wicked God cards, each being designed with the intention of countering and keeping the Egyptian gods in check. These cards all wielded immense power and strength, so much so that the completion of these cards never came to fruition, due to Pegasus' fear of their potential consequences if released. It isn't until Yako Tenma, the protege of the Pegasus, in a misguided attempt on revenge on Yugi for killing Pegasus, completes the creation of the Wicked Gods. These 3 Wicked Gods are the Wicked Dreadroot, the Wicked Eraser, and the Wicked Avatar. In the manga, they are all God-type monsters, where they are level 10 monsters that require 3 tributes and all have their own powerful effect. Their design in both artwork and effect are based on the 3 Egyptian gods, alluding to the idea that each Wicked God is designed to counter each of the respective Egyptian gods. Now within the manga, there's a system called the hierarchy system, which refers to the ranking of the Egyptian gods and the Wicked Gods. Slifer, Obelisk, Eraser, and Dreadroot all belong to a hierarchy of 1, whereas the Avatar and Ra have a hierarchy of 2. In this hierarchical system, every god in Tier 2 is unaffected by the gods from Tier 1. Now that we've given a short introduction into what the Wicked Gods are, we'll move on to the first of our Wicked Gods, the Wicked Eraser. The Wicked Eraser is based on the Slifer the Sky Dragon. The Wicked Eraser's effect allows it to gain 1000 attack and defense depending on the number of cards the opponent controls. It also has a secondary effect, that when a card is destroyed and sent to the grave, it can destroy all the cards on the field, with the option to blow itself up for this purpose. On paper, I can see how the Wicked Eraser could be this extremely powerful boss monster, where the more you attempt to mount an offense on it by summoning monsters and using spells to take it down, the Wicked Eraser only grows in power, and if by a miracle you somehow manage to take it down, your entire field is blown up, wasting all those resources spent trying to destroy it. However, that's all on paper. In reality, the attack boost is just okay, as with most decks, setting up a full board with a couple monsters and maybe 1 or 2 spells or traps taking space in the back row means that the Wicked Eraser should on average have 4k or more stats, which can get pretty beefy. This is however only assuming of course that you are summoning the Wicked Eraser into board going second. The issue with this is that the incredibly restrictive summoning conditions makes this card incredibly hard to get out against most decks with any sort of disruption. If you look at this card as a going first card, this also fails in usage. If we're going to assume the almost impossible scenario of where the opponent somehow can't find an easy way to get rid of a high attack monster, then it's easily ran over by summoning a single monster over 1000 attack points and destroying it. As Kaiba himself puts it, the Wicked Eraser is a knockoff god, given how it's not self-reliant. The destruction effect is also incredibly mediocre, where half of the effect of your monster is basically the equivalent of using a Voltorb with Explode, and leaves you with nothing on your field. What is interesting however is the fact that you can choose to blow up the card anytime you want, but this still does not make up for the core issue of the effect. The investment for the card to the power output always means that no matter how easy it is to blow up the field, means that you're losing 4 cards at best for a Heavy Storm and a Dark Hole and a monster, which if you really wanted to, well, you could just use a Dark Hole and a Heavy Storm. This effect is a clear parallel to Slifer's, but instead of Wicked Eraser's stat being influenced by the user's hand, it's instead influenced by the number of cards the opponent controls. Slifer's destruction effect is also paralleled in this card, where it destroys every card on the field. Within the manga, the Wicked Eraser is wielded by both Keith and Yako, which suggests that the Wicked Gods can be duplicated, in contrast to the Egyptian gods, which were all unique. On to the next of the Wicked Gods. The Wicked Dreadroot is the counterpart of Obelisk the Tormentor. Dreadroot takes its similarities from Obelisk with its humanoid appearance and 4000 stat line. The Wicked Dreadroot has a rather simple effect which can be summarized into a single line: half the attack on defense of every other monster on the field. Honestly, there isn't much to say about this card. There isn't even that many negative things to talk about this card because it's just that boring. This effect is rather underwhelming with how it's the only effect this monster has, and the fact that this debuff also affects your own monsters. Whilst it does have a sizable stat line, that ensures it should run over most monsters. A debuff not only halves the attack and offers no other protection, is an extremely underwhelming effect for a boss monster for the heavy cost. The most interesting thing about this effect is the headache of trying to figure out how this effect works with other monsters and alter attack and defense. For our final Wicked God, we have the Winged Dragon of Ra equivalent, the Wicked Avatar. This rather ominous design of the Dark Sphere is not based on Ra's normal mode, but actually its Sphere mode. You might also be wondering, doesn't the design seem a bit simple? Well, in the manga, the Wicked Avatar actually takes the form of the strongest monster on the field, so the spherical design is actually the card before it snatches the shape of its strongest monster. Its effect has the same summoning restriction as the two other gods, and once it hits the field, it prevents your opponent from using spells or traps until their second turn has ended. Its secondary effect allows it to attain attack and defense of the monster, with the highest attack on the field. But the Wicked Avatar leads the race with the other two Wicked Gods in terms of its actual power, but it's not by much. It has the best attack manipulation raising effect, as it's more reliable than both the Wicked Eraser and Dreadroot. But the main power of the card is the Cold Wave effect, which surprisingly is quite a powerful effect, in comparison to the other Wicked Gods at least. A Cold Wave effect could be extremely powerful, downright broken if this effect was printed on literally any other monster that had better summoning restriction. So that's all for the Wicked Gods. Just let me know what other Pantheon gods you would like me to cover for future videos, and also make sure to like and subscribe.